I'm Chris Burnham. I'm the artist of the brand new Unstoppable Doom Patrol. You may know me from, I run on Batman Incorporated with Grant Morrison, or Nameless with Grant, or many other things.
Hey, I'm Dennis Culver. I'm the writer on Unstoppable Doom Patrol. I've also written Future State Gotham and Justice League Incarnate for DC. If you're a fan of the TV show, you can go right from that to this. If you've read every single Doom Patrol issue, you'll definitely be rewarded for that. But also, we've been crafting this for brand new fans too. So when you open that first issue, everything you need to know is right there. It's very new reader friendly, and we're going to kind of build something together as we go through those issues.
Yeah, Dennis has read every Doom Patrol comic ever made. I think he's read comics that never were published, maybe. I am a slightly more casual Doom Patrol fan, so I'm always focused on making every panel, every page, every issue make as much, sense so that your mom could pick it up and hopefully immediately understand it.
Yeah,
I know my mom can.
A real cool thing about Burnham's art is you can look at it without words and really, suss out most of what's going on. Like, he's a great storyteller, so this is not going to be an inaccessible comic by any means. I mean, I think most relatable probably of all the characters is Robot Man. I definitely he's kind of like a working class superhero. He's always like, just point me in, show me what I gotta punch, and then he kind of goes from there. So I always feel like he's the easiest one for me to find a way into just being like, what the F is going on here? Because that's exactly what he would say. But I think there's the great thing about the Doom Patrol, because of the way they deal with their trauma, like if you have any trauma in your life, they're great mouthpieces for that. So there's a lot of different characters that you can find out, but probably for me, it's Robot Man.
Yeah, Robot Man for sure. Yeah, he's just his like, I gotta do what now? All right.
Yeah.
Just like, he's just got that steely exterior, and just like he just keeps getting beaten. There's nothing else to do but keep going on. Like I've got two little kids, and it's just like, I gotta pick up what from where. All right.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the show. I've watched it all at least twice. To think about, does the show inform the comics? Sure, because the comics informed the show. So it's kind of like an Ouroboros of influence there. There's definitely things that the show enhanced about the previous Doom Patrol issues that I really like. Like, there's a lot of heart in that show. And if we can get half the heart in our comic, I think we're doing a really good job. But, we also gave some signifiers for fans of the show so that they come in. There's a familiar Doom Patrol in place, a lot of the same team members. We used the bus in the first issue just to kind of give that vibe there. But yeah, if you're a fan of the show, this will definitely feel like kind of the next step of their adventures, like the logical progression from that show, especially if it was suddenly a superhero comic in the DC universe.
Yeah, I incorporated some of the appearance of the show. Like our Robot Man, has some of the flavor of the TV version. The Chief has a very similar wheelchair. Crazy Jan's design is very similar to what she looks like on the show. So for me, it's all part of the stew.
Yeah. Yeah, I even think your Rita Farr looks a little like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like it's definitely got some. You could see it if you squint at it. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. It's fun to see her. I only know that lady from Drop Dead Diva, and I haven't seen her in like 10 years. And then she appears with a different hair color. It's like, hey, what? Oh, sweet. I love that lady. I've got a very solid answer. I would say the Murderbot from the Murderbot Diaries. Like, the timeline probably wouldn't make sense since it's from the future, but I think Murderbot would be perfect.
No. I have no plans for Ambush Bug. The last place I saw him was in the when the last Suicide Squad was wrapping up. I know Keith Giffen had brought him in his run. I feel like just with the current team dynamic, his kind of zany hijinks don't really fit in. We've got some characters that kind of fulfill that role. So yeah, no plans for him currently, but anything's possible. Again, Robot Man's really accessible, so he's probably the easiest to kind of find that voice because it's your own, you know. Of the core team, I think figuring out Beast Girl's voice was a little tricky until Burnham. Like, the more of Burnham's drawings I saw, the more she started to just kind of come to life on her own. I think outside of the core team, Niles Calder is really tough to write, just because he's got a real dark history with the team, and he's definitely there in a consulting capacity with the team, and so kind of like figuring out his voice and him kind of coming to terms with what he's done in the past, and just kind of coalescing his whole history to make him make sense as a character for me was a challenge, but I feel like we're hitting the mark with him. I definitely think the differences in the characters is a feature, not a bug. Like, it's easier to have those people bounce off of each other when they really contrast each other really well. There's all these kind of core personality traits that are really strong, especially if you watch the TV show. Like, they really shine through. So it's, when you can almost kind of hear their voices talking to each other, I think that makes it a lot easier to kind of have them bicker with each other and bounce off of each other and all of that. And it's just it's energy levels, right? Like Robot Man is kind of like, he's the F this guy, he's like, I gotta do this, and then maybe Larry's a little calmer about things. So it's kind of finding those different levels with the characters. And then the new chief, which is one of Jane's alters, she's kind of it's really tough. And really just keeping on business. So, she's not a warm character, and that kind of that bouncing off of the other characters is interesting too.
Right. I mean, it's all part of the stew, but I mean, probably my biggest artistic influence for the last 10, 15 years is Frank Quitely and then our shared influence of Mobius. So there's still that core, Quitely feeling, I would say. But also Nick Darrington's run recently has really informed. Like, he's very similar to Quitely in some ways, but then he's taken it a little, brushier and a little cartoonier. And so his take on Robot Man is definitely maybe my primary Robot Man influence, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong fan of the Doom Patrol. I've been reading them since I was a teenager, so it's like I was always following, every iteration of those comics, whether I was going backwards or forwards in time, tracking them down. And I think just kind of putting that all together, like in a stew, like Burnham says, and just kind of like figuring that out. I'm a big fan of All Your Comics Count, and that's kind of like a guiding principle for me, was like trying to say, well, what, if all of these comics do in fact count, if all of them happen to these characters, how does that inform their narrative? How does that inform where they're at now versus where they started all the way in My Greatest Adventure? It's an interesting place where they kind of start off as really messed up people, and they're kind of on this healing journey. And I think when you get to the end of the Gerard Way, Nick Darrington run, along with everybody else, they've kind of come to this place where they're starting to get their shit together, and I feel like our book is kind of the next step. So it's definitely feeling the influences of all those things, and then finding a way to make it our own while still feeling like the Doom Patrol. That's really fun to me. Yeah, absolutely. We've got Batman right in the first issue. If you've already read issue 1, spoilers, Peacemaker makes an appearance in that, so it's firmly set in the DC universe. Also, upcoming in issue 3, the solicits are already out. We've got the Guy Gardner and Kyle Rayner, who are my favorite Green Lanterns, so therefore the best Green Lanterns, They're appearing in the book as well. So yeah, we've got some definitely familiar faces coming up in the DCU. Also, there'll be a Robot has a really interesting team up that I can't quite talk about yet, but that's going to be a lot of fun too. So yeah, they're in the mix. They're right a part of it now.
Yeah, and there's some teeny little flashbacks in issue 3 of some of your favorite heroes, although they very, very small.
I was. I wanted something to distinguish the series from previous series, kind of to help us stand out. Their mission statement is saving the world by saving the monsters, and like speaking back to that kind of proactive mission that we're talking about, where they're going out, focusing on saving the monsters. They don't care whose toes they step on. That's what makes them unstoppable in my mind. They're not letting anyone get in their way. And that includes Batman when they go to Gotham City. So check that out.
Absolutely nothing. Like there's the like you see her transform from one to the other, but like there's no. I mean, not a bad idea at the moment. At the moment, there's no unifying like design element other than us saying, "Hey, this is one of them."
My note to Burnham when she transforms is kind of like when Clark Kent transforms to Superman. There's like a lot of speed lines and color, and it's clear they're going from one to the other. I don't know. I mean, Burnham's art and storytelling is so clear. I don't think anybody that I've shown our scripts to, they've never gotten confused with that happening. And I think it's there in the text and in the comics.
It's definitely in the text, but if you just saw the Chief walking by, I don't think you would.
Yeah, there's nothing to say.
Oh, that's definitely Crazy Jane's new form. Like there's nothing designed that would let you know that for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like that though. I like.
Yeah, I mean I did it intentionally. Like all her different alters have totally different appearances. Like, they don't even all have black hair. Like they're just they're all women, I think.
Yep. For the most part. There's one called Daddy that's kind of her dad from the past, but it's interesting because on the TV show they had a similar problem, right? Or like they got to use the same actress, Diane Guerrero, like when she's above ground and they just kind of change her hair or maybe change her appearance. Sometimes they don't change her at all. She just changes. She's such a great actress. She like changes her physicality. But when they go to the underground, for the most part, they use different actresses for all of those different characters. And that's a good way of showing it. Because of the magic of comics, we get to say, well, yeah, her whole, we're not limited with a budget. We don't have to worry about casting actors and different things like that. So, yeah, Burnham gets to go a little more all out with those different characters. If you read the Lazarus Planet Dark Fate little preview story that we did, you get Flit, who has like an 80s look, and she definitely looks nothing like Jane. Like she's blonde, right? Yeah, and then, the Chainsaw Nun shows up. And we went all out with her instead of just, in the comic and even on the show, it's just an old lady nun with a regular old chainsaw. But I wanted to think about like, how would that physically manifest? And I was like, Burnham and I are both like manga and anime fans. We're always talking about that stuff. So naturally we thought of Chainsaw Man. And it was like, what if like the chainsaws like actually grew out of her flesh, And so like Burnham went wild with that, and it was like super cool.
Hopefully the chainsaw blades, hopefully they look like their actual teeth.
Yeah.
Like they're formed out of her bones in some fake way. Like, yeah, I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then there's already precedent in the comic, like in the Grant Morrison run, when Jane would change from her primary form to like Black Annis or Sun Daddy. Like those were real huge physical transformations. And they never used anything to kind of indicate that. I think it's easy to follow along. Like, we'll make sure you know who's who and what's going on. What are you nervous about, Burnham?
There's a lot of lines to draw, and not enough hours to do it. A lot of backgrounds there, Dennis.
That's not me. That's my fault. Setting the whole issue in Gotham City, that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think I'm excited because, like I said, this was while I've been a lifelong Doom Patrol fan, the way this comic came up, like I didn't come with a pitch. I was kind of talking to my editor Ben Abernathy about what was next, and Burnham and I had already worked together on a small piece of Justice League Incarnate, and he knew we were in a studio together. And he was like, "You guys should do something," and I was like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." I had an idea for a Robot Man story, which became issue 3, but I knew that wasn't like a series or anything. But I was just kind of bouncing ideas, and I kind of got off on a very passionate rant about why I thought Doom Patrol should have its own book. But I wasn't pitching it for myself. I was just like, they got a TV show, man. Like they should be their own pillar of the DC universe. It should be like, they were here before the X-Men. They should be as big as the X-Men. Like it's like all of these things. And he was like, well, why don't you and Burnham just do a Doom Patrol comic? And because he clearly saw my passion. And I texted Burnham, and Burnham was like, hell yeah. Burnham loves drawing mummies.
I'm most excited for mummies.
But it was like all of that kind of came together, and then like cool coincidences started happening. Like, this year is the 60th anniversary of the Doom Patrol, and we're launching a comic like right now. Like, that's great timing. That was totally unplanned by anything on our part. Like we were just kind of all stumbled into that kind of thing. And it's just like all of these neat things are happening to kind of make our comic happen. When we started putting this together, Dawn of DC wasn't quite together yet, and then it came together, and we were ready to be a part of that. And we got to kind of launch with the Dawn of DC like announcement, and that's super cool. Like that really helps kind of put our visibility out there and really send the message that we're a part of the DC universe. So all of that stuff I'm excited about. I'm always nervous how a book's going to be received. Once it's out of your hands, that's out of your control. But I mean, I was reviewing art yesterday or a couple days ago of issue 2, and just to send it off to be lettered, and it's like Burnham killed it, man. Like it's like this book is going to look like one of the best books on the stand. Brian Reaver, who does colors, I think is the perfect colorist for Burnham. Like I love how they meld together. Like it looks really great. So I mean, we're putting our whole heart into this, and
putting our whole lives into each swing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like Vagabond. We're putting our, what is it? Is it our whole heart into our sword?
I think whole lives into our swing is how I remember.
Our whole lives into our swing. Yes, that's what we're doing. If you haven't read the excellent manga Vagabond, Burnham and I used to obsess over. It's by the skull, like all of those right there. Go ahead.
Like we as creators went on the deepest dive possible, but as far as the readers go, like most of the we will catch you up on history here and there, but it's never more than a panel or two just to make sure that we're on the same page, and then we're off to the future. Yeah,
like for instance, when Guy Gardner shows up, there's only one real time that he's ever encountered the Doom Patrol, and he was more or less a background character in like the Painting That Ate Paris issue. Funnily enough, the Justice League just kind of stood around that whole issue while the Doom Patrol was inside the painting saving the world. So he kind of just comments on that, like it was just really annoying that we had to deal with these freaks, and it gave me a headache. But anything like that to kind of just give a little flavor, to make you feel like they're a part of this larger world, we'll definitely drop that in there. But yeah, as far as personal deep dive, like I've gone so deep. Like even just reading the random appearances that don't always count, but just trying to be thorough and like kind of figuring out how it all meshes together. Issue 4, which is an actual bonus issue that's unannounced, but it'll be announced by the time this comes out. But we have a guest artist, and we're kind of using Dr. Cinco as a therapy issue, and it's where she gets to kind of delve into the minds of all of our core cast. That's going to be a deep dive. Just like we're really going to dig into some of those characters, dig into some of the things that happen. Also using that story to kind of bridge the gap between the end of the Gerard Way, Nick Darrington run and the start of our run, just to kind of fill in a little bit of those blanks, just to kind of give you an idea of how we got from point A to point B. But like I said earlier, we'll make sure we're going to hold your hand the whole way. And when we let it go, we're letting it go for a reason. We want you to kind of fall and feel crazy, and then we'll come in and save you. I think that's tough. I think that with Jane's different alternate identities, they could easily fulfill all of those requirements. That's. But I think if I had to give just one to Jane's character, based more on her history than where she's at now, it'd probably be like the Red Ring, like the Red Lantern, because that's the anger emotion, and I think that's a character who in the past has had a lot of anger. She's done a lot of healing over previous runs. I still think there's some anger deep down in there. That's probably what I would give to her.
I think as a surprise, Robot Man seems so rough and gruff, but in our series he's been very compassionate to the people, to the monsters he's dealing with. So I think give him the whatever color the compassion ring was. I think that would be a nice little visual surprise.
Is it compassion? Is that Star Sapphire? That's love.
I think that's just love. I think is compassion indigo?
There's hope, and was the indigo Tri?
I think so.
That might be compassion.
I think that's right.
I guess step one, we got to go read the Wikipedia real quick.
Yeah, when they were giving out those colored rings 10, 15 years ago, I got the compassion ring, and I would always just aim it at Erin and scream compassion at her.
Yeah, Erin's your wife. That should be pointed out.
Yes.
Some random person.
I mean, just anyone in general, just people in the street.
Yeah. Negative Man. I mean, I feel like you give him maybe yellow, fear, potentially. I feel like all the characters kind of have a lot of anger in them, so they qualify. I feel like Cliff.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got anyone that would really get the avarice ring, really.
Yeah, like maybe Niles Calder.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Orange ring goes with his orange
ring, formerly orange beard. That's pretty.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then sheer force of will, I feel like Cliff is kind of, he could also have a Green Lantern ring. I could easily see that happen. So, and they've all overcome great fear. I mean, let's face it.
Thanks so much for watching the DC Creator Q&A series. I'm Chris Burnham. Please pick up the Unstoppable Doom Patrol now, forever, and always.
It was a blast answering all your questions. Make sure you put Unstoppable Doom Patrol on your pull list with your comic shop. And also, congratulations to Agent of Checkmate for winning a signed copy of Unstoppable Doom Patrol #1 by me and Burnham. Thanks so much.